So last night, Nomah was at last night's game. Unfortunately, it was a blowout, but he did get something really, really cool. Do you want to tell us about it?
I do. So first I'll show you guys this card. You might have seen me show it on my channel, but it's a Jackson Churio IP auto. I also got Bernie Brewer, which is not quite as cool, but it's still cool.
That's so cool. Yeah.
So I'll tell you the whole story here, and this will be a good, so I know that you've never done in-person autographs.
Yeah.
So this will be a good little primer for you. And anyone out there that's never done in-person autographs, this is good little lesson. So
Definitely.
I've been doing in-person autographs for like 35 years now.
Okay.
The thing that I have learned first and foremost is that you have to kind of be where others are not.
Okay.
And you have to be creative. And this is especially true now as an adult, because when I started getting autographs, I was like 13, and I was just in the scrum with all the other little kids.
Yeah.
But you don't want to do that as an adult, because obviously you don't want to take an autograph away from a kid. You don't
Right.
want to push a kid out of the way. You do not be that guy, all of you out there. And I have some autograph videos on my channel, Nomah's Sports Cards, that you guys might want to check out, where I talk in some detail about how to get autographs. But at any rate, so it helps to be where others are not. Generally speaking, with a major league game, you want to try to get the visitors, because all the kids are trying to get the home field.
Right.
In this case, I didn't do that because they were playing the Cubs. And first of all, I forgot my Cubs cards in Arizona. So thank you for bringing me some Cubs cards for today. And secondly, I figured that the Cubs was going to be just as busy as the Brewers side, if not more so, which I was right. So it's going to be busy today. We have to know that. It's gotten a lot harder to get in-person autographs since they put the nets up. I know the nets are there for safety, but you basically have two choices. You can either go, let's say you're trying to get the team that's on the right side of the field, which is what I was doing last night, but this applies to the left side just as much. So I generally recommend getting visitors rather than the home team. But you basically have a couple of options. So down right field or left field, the net ends at a certain point in time. And sometimes the players will come over to where there is no net, because it's just easier for them.
Yeah.
They will often come to the net, and usually there's little gaps in the net. So if you look for where there's a gap in the net, they're much more likely to come over.
Okay.
You can get them through the net if you kind of turn the card sideways and slide it through, but that's difficult. It's much better to do it where there's a gap in the net, and you have to figure they're going to go to whatever looks the most attractive to them. So imagine that you are out running laps, getting ready to go play. You are going to go where there's like a bunch of little kids going, Elijah, 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 right?
Right.
Or if there was a nice looking lady with your jersey going, Elijah, right? That is also very appealing, the ladies. So Mrs. Nomah has helped me get a lot of autographs in the past.
Unfortunately, we're out of luck with that.
Because we don't have our ladies here.
No.
Yeah.
And we're two grown men.
But we have both very attractive wives.
That's true.
So we know if we can get Mrs. Hoosier or Mrs. Nomah to go to a game with us, then we're set. But Mrs. Nomah has helped me out with this in the past. I'm not ashamed to say. But a lot of IP graphing, in-person autographs, IP graphing, is just being in the right place at the right time. So you kind of have two choices. Like what I'm going to recommend that we do today is that we get in as soon as the park opens, and we pick a spot on the Cub side and we just go down there. Because again, you don't want to be pushing kids out of the way.
Right.
So if the kids are already there, you're kind of out of luck unless you can reach your arm over. But then you risk crushing kids, or you don't want to do that. So we'll just pick a spot and go to it and just hope for the best. That's the best thing to do. And I have hurt myself before by running around between different spots. Like if you have a good spot, just stay there. And sometimes it means you don't get the person, but I made the mistake with Jack Caglione in the AFL, Arizona Fall League, where I was in a good spot, but there were a bunch of grown men around me, and I was like, there's no way he's coming over here. So I went to a different spot. But then he did come over there and sign for all those guys, and then went and was signing for kids. And I was like, hey, Jack, I missed you over there. And he's like, I'm just trying to get the kids now. And I was like, So it's a maddening thing trying to get IP autos, because you can sometimes give up a good spot to try to go get someone who's signing and then like just barely miss them by the time you get there. Other times you don't get an autograph because you didn't leave the spot, but nobody
Yeah.
comes to your spot. It's like hunting. You know, you have to kind of go where the deer are, but at the same time, you also want to be where you think the deer might come.
It's true.
Right?
It's true.
So, last night, I did not do a good job of positioning myself to get autographs from the Brewers because I was messing around out by the Cubs bullpen trying to get them to throw me a ball that Ian Happ had hit into the bullpen, which ultimately one of them picked up and started playing catch with and threw it into the stands, so I didn't get it. But Mark Stripmatter, who is the bullpen coach for the Cubs, used to be the bullpen catcher for the Rockies back when I lived there back in the day. Rockies represent, and so I figured he'd probably throw it to me. And he and I did chat for a second, and he did remember me, but so
that's
that was
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
But the ball was already gone by then, and he wasn't going to give me one of the fresh balls from the bag that they need. So if I'd have stayed till the end of the game, maybe he would have. But anyway, that's a digression. So I'm like, okay, there's too many kids around the Cubs trying to get a ball. I'm just going to go over and see if I can get an autograph. Or at the very least, I can just enjoy watching the kids getting autographs, whatever. So anyway, so I went over and there were 3 spots. There was one kind of right near the dugout. There was one kind of halfway between the dugout and the end of the net. And then there was the end of the net. So first I was over where the end of the net was. But all of the guys, you have to think about too, like where they're running their laps and where they're playing catch. They're likely to come directly to the fans. So if there's fans here and they're here doing their thing, occasionally but rarely they're not going to go over here.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to come right where they already are,
right.
Sign a few, and then go. So by the dugout can be really good, or kind of midway can be really good because that's where they're running. But I was over here where there was no net. That just seemed like a good spot. But then people started signing by the dugout.
Okay.
So the other things is kind of like you pay attention to what a particular team's behavior is. So like the Rangers, I've noticed, and when I've seen them in away games, they tend to sign where the net is not. So that's where I would go to them next time. Just random that I've seen the Rangers on the road a couple times. But anyway, they're creatures of habit. They're going to kind of do it the same way each time. So once you figure out where a player goes, they don't always go to the same spot, but there's kind of tendencies. So then I was like, then I broke the advice that I'm giving you, but it actually turned out good that I did that. I left the spot where I was, right where the net ended, where I had a perfect angle, and I went down to where one of the Brewers players, I don't remember who it was, not a well-known one, but he was signed when I'm like better than nothing. Also, I got Bernie Brewer before the game, and I have a very strong recommendation for anyone that's trying to get IP autos, which is just get somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if you get the pitching coach to sign your hat.
Yeah.
Once you get an autograph, it's easier to get another one. I don't know why, but like just get somebody to sign something.
Yeah.
Get the ball boy to sign, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Once I had an autograph from Bernie Brewer, I knew I was going to get another one. I just didn't know who.
Mm-hmm.
So I went over by the dugout where this guy was signing and literally arrived as he was leaving, which, that's that happens.
Yeah.
The other problem is that now you're starting to get people filling in, and you don't want to climb over people and you don't want to be rude, so you kind of have to go up and then over on the aisle and then down again. So it just gets very laborious. It's much better just to pick a spot and stay there. Anyway, so I'm over by the dugout, and I just noticed that Jackson Churio came out, and if this is the dugout and there's people here and there's people here, and all the players are kind of here running and playing catch, he ran out like pretty close to where the net ends.
Yeah.
Just to do his running. And I was like, that's where to go.
Yeah.
And I looked down there and they had cleared out all the people that were standing there.
Okay.
Which the ushers will do at their discretion.
Right.
They just clear you out, especially if the people are coming to sit. But there was a female in a Jackson Churio jersey with a ball standing right there where I had been. So it actually turned out well for me because I missed them getting cleared out. Because once the usher clears you out, if he sees you there again, you're in trouble. So I just casually went over, and she had the Jackson Churio jersey on, and she was trying to get a ball sign. He saw her, and I was like, show him your jersey. So she turned around, and she was pointing to Churio, and he saw and he waved, and I was like, he's for sure coming over.
Yeah.
Like, no question. Because it's weird. Sometimes they go where there's a concentration of kids, if you're standing by yourself as a grown adult, like we are, male,
Right.
they're not going to come over to just sign for you. But one of the things is Jackson Cherry is a superstar, so they also try to avoid like a scrum, I've noticed. So if they have a choice between 30 kids and 10 kids, they sometimes go where the 10 kids are because they can get them all and just go.
Right.
They don't want anybody to get hurt, etc. So I'm like, he's for sure going to come sign this girl's ball. And so I went over and I was just kind of casual about it, and I didn't want to like elbow her out of the way or anything.
Right.
But he came over, and the other thing that you want to do is just start talking to the player and thank them for signing for you before they actually do it. There's something about if I'm like, oh, Elijah, thank you so much for signing. I really appreciate it. Like you even went to take the
I was
card.
like, that's not
it's
even
human nature. It's human nature. Be like, oh, Elijah, thank you so much.
Yeah, it's like
You just naturally want to do it. So he signed her ball, and I had my Sharpie out, and I had this card, and I was holding it out, and and you can also just say thank you so much for signing as they're signing for others. So you say, thank you so much for signing, Jackson. Really, really appreciate it. I didn't have the heart to call him Mr. Churio because he's even younger than you.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like the same age as my son. Normally I say Mr.
Right.
But in this case, it's just like, because she was gushing and so excited, and I was like, thank you so much for signing, Jackson. We really, really, really appreciate it.
Yeah.
You're having an awesome year. You're so great. And he's like looking at me, and like, I think he could just kind of tell that I meant it and that I wasn't going to go sell this card. So he signed for her, and then he signed for me, and then he ran away, and he didn't sign anybody else.
That's awesome.
And
dude.
There was no one else there where we were. It was just like me and her and her boyfriend, and that was it. So a lot of IP graphing is just being observant and kind of being like, okay, well, that's where the net ends, so that's where I want to be. Oh, that's where there's a hole in the net, so that's where I want to be. Oh, this is too crowded, but I'm right at the front, so maybe they'll come over because there's a lot of kids here. Or maybe it's too crowded. If it's crowded with a lot of adult males, like the Jack Caglione thing, 9 times out of 10, he would have not come anywhere near that gaggle of guys.
Right.
9 times out of 10. That would have been the perfect move. Another thing you can do is you can say, if they're signing for a bunch of kids, you can say, hey, Jack, when you're finished signing for the kids, if you have time, I'd really appreciate it, but I understand if not. Because then you're acknowledging that the kids are the priority, which they are for the player as well, and that worked really well. I got Zach Gallen in spring training once by doing that because there were just a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
And he wasn't really interested in the dudes, but I asked him nicely, and he signed for me at the end. He also did a little spot for the channel, so that was cool.
That's awesome.
But when I interviewed Corbin Carroll, which is on my channel, long interview with Corbin Carroll, he talked about this like, just be polite and be cool. And if you have a giant binder full of, you have 8 of his card along with 8 of everybody else's card, it's not as special.
Right.
Those of them that collect also know which is a good card. And they'll be like, oh, someone spent a lot of money on this card. I should sign it for them. So not all of them collect, but those that do, Trout does, Bobby Witt Jr. does, Corbin does. I'm sure there's many others.
Yeah.
Ezekiel Tovar does. Nolan Jones does.
The Young brothers.
Yes, Jace and Josh both collect. So that's a good thing to think about as well. And so if it's a player that collects, you can also say like, hey, Jace, I bought your 1 of 1, just hoping I might meet you and you might possibly sign it. For sure they're going to sign it if you do that. Like, it's just a matter of standing out so that they know you're not somebody who's going to get it authenticated and then sell it, because they don't really want that.
Right.
So anyway, in this case, it was just a matter of kind of like being where everyone else wasn't. And it's like I said with, if you're hunting, it's like, where do I have a high probability shot? And it's kind of the whole thing of go where the ball is going, not where the ball is.
Yeah.
Right? And I know in the military too, because you were a Marine, like when you're learning to shoot a moving target, you're not shooting where the target is, because by the time the bullet gets there, it's gone. Where do you think it's going?
Got to lead it,
Yeah, leading the target, exactly. So with IP graphing and ball hawking too, for that matter, ball hawking being trying to get a ball, which I came very close to getting a ball but didn't quite get one. Again, I stayed in that spot. One of the Brewers was warming up, and I was just kind of leaning out with my glove, and he just didn't hear me because it was too loud, but it would have been a perfect, easy throw, so he threw it over the net and randomly into the stands. but they really prefer, especially if you know their name, to throw it right to you. Random thing too, if you're trying to ball hawk, look up on the roster. If you just Google like Chicago Cubs roster, it'll come up for the MLB.com page for that team. You click on the 40-man roster, and then there's a drop down where you can go to coaches. If you call one of the bullpen catchers by their name, they will throw you a ball because nobody knows who they are.
Right.
But it's public information, is widely available. So that's just another little tip. So yeah, that's how I got the Jackson Cheerio autograph. And this is definitely one of my top IP autos that I've ever gotten.
Sweet.
It looks so perfect.
And he's wearing the City Connect too.
I know.
Which is like, it's so sick.
It's just BA.
So sick.
Yeah. I love his smile on it.
Yeah.
It's just great. Great card. So that's how I did it. We'll see if we can get some autographs today. It's a day game during the summer, which means a lot of kids are going to be there. So we got to get there early and just pick a good spot and just kind of stay there. That's going to be our goal. So rock and roll. Let's go for it.
You heard it from the master himself. We will be right back from American Family Field.
See where the Sandberg jersey is right there? That guy? Go right there.
Oh, guys, hold on. This card.
Oh, it's mine. Nancy, can you please sign my hat?
Thank you, Nancy. Good luck.
Nancy, can you please sign my hat?
Nancy, you saw my ball?
Can you please sign my ball? Nancy, can you please sign my hat?
Hey Dansby, when you get the kids, would you be able to get my jersey? If not, it's all good, brother. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Nancy. You're good, you're good.
Can I please get out?
Yep. Hold on, buddy. Decent. Set us as well.
Dude. Thank you so much, Dansby. We appreciate you, brother. Dude, score!
There you go, here you go.
Look at that.